Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're strapping on our financial sandals and heading back about 8,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia.
We're going to Babylon.
Exactly. To unlock the wealth secrets hidden in one of the greatest financial parables ever written, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason.
It's a classic for a reason.
It really is. And when we talk about Babylon, we're talking about this superpower defined by just incredible wealth and splendor.
Right.
But here's the wild part. That city was built in a desert valley. It had almost no natural resources.
Their wealth was entirely man-made. They were pioneers in, everything. Engineering, these vast irrigation canals.
In finance. They basically invented modern commerce. We're diving into the wisdom that built that whole dynasty.
And that's really our mission today. We're going to extract the core insights, the foundational principles of discipline, planning, and knowledge that let Akkad rise from being just a scribe to the richest man in the world.
This isn't just a quaint story.
No, it's a proven, actionable roadmap. It completely ignores market trends and just focuses on, timeless human behavior.
So the story kicks off with a situation that feels way too familiar today. We meet two friends, Banser, the chariot builder,
and Kabi, the musician.
And they live in the most prosperous city on earth. They work constantly, but they have, and I'm quoting here, not to show for their labor.
They're trapped.
Totally trapped. And they finally realize, we're great at our jobs, but we've never actually tried to learn the rules of getting wealthy.
That's the essential difference, isn't it? Generating income versus generating wealth. So they go to Akkad, who was once just like them.
And Akkad's own breakthrough came from a moneylender, Ilgamesh.
Right. And that one lesson is the cornerstone for everything that follows.
So what was that first pivotal lesson Akkad shared?
It's almost deceptive. It's just a part of all you earn is yours to keep.
Okay, we need to pause on that for a second because it sounds so obvious, right?
It does.
But culturally, psychologically, that is a huge shift. Most people see their paycheck as already spent. Rent, bills, food. It's a 100% consumption mindset.
Exactly. And when Ilgamesh first told Akkad this, he stressed that this part should be not less than a tenth no matter how little you earn.
Pay yourself first.
You have to. You mentally have to ring-fence that fraction of your income. It doesn't belong to the landlord or the grocer. It belongs to your future self. If you wait until all your bills are paid to save, you'll wait forever.
Akkad had that great analogy for it too, that wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. That consistent 1/10 is the seed you plant.
And that seed needs nourishment. But, planting the seed is only half the battle. Akkad's early days are a huge cautionary tale.
Oh, yeah.
His first investments were a disaster. He gave his entire first year's savings to a brickmaker, a guy who's great at making bricks, but there's nothing about finance, who told him to buy rare jewels.
And he lost everything.
Lost it all. It was a scam.
That is such a modern trap. You see a successful celebrity or an athlete, and you just assume their success in one field translates to financial genius.
Precisely. So Akkad learns you need two unbreakable habits. First, the discipline to save that tenth, and second, the wisdom to seek counsel only from those who are, quote, wise in its handling.
People who actually make their living by managing money successfully.
Masters of their domain. And this became so important that, the King Sargon, he sees that all the gold in Babylon is ending up in the hands of just a few people.
The average person was broke.
Yeah. So he tasks Akkad to teach the entire population, which leads to Akkad's masterclass, the 7 cures for a lean purse.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical. These aren't just philosophies. They are 7 steps you can start tomorrow. So let's walk through them.
Let's do it.
Cure number 1 is that foundation we just talked about. Fatten thy purse. For every 10 coins you earn, use but 9.
Simple as that. But then cure number 2 immediately introduces the tension. Control thy expenditures. Akkad wasn't saying you have to live in poverty. He was demanding that you budget. You have to know the difference between your needs and those fleeting wants that just drain your money.
That's lifestyle creep, isn't it? Your income goes up and suddenly your definition of needs just expands to fill the space.
Absolutely. The budget has to be a living document that guarantees your necessities are covered, but your total expenses never go over 9/10 of your income. If you can't afford it on that, you cut the wants.
Cure 3 is the pivot. Make thy gold multiply. This is where you move from just saving to actually investing.
That saved tenth becomes your army. It has to go out and work for you, generating more income, creating a golden stream, as he calls it. Your capital has to reproduce.
Which brings us to Cure 4, which is so critical today. Guard thy treasures from loss.
After his mistake with the brickmaker, this is paramount. It demands, intense due diligence. You invest only where your principal is safe.
And reclaimable.
And reclaimable. And you consult wise advisors, not just to find good returns, but to minimize the risk of total loss.
Then there's Cure 5, which is fascinating. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your own home.
For them, land ownership was stability. It reduced their biggest long-term expense. Now, the modern rent versus buy debate is complex, but the principle is the same. Reduce your largest recurring expense shelter and turn it into an asset.
It anchors you. Okay, Cure 6 looks to the future. Ensure a future income. This is about the long game.
Yes, it's the Babylonian version of retirement planning and insurance. You create reserves, investments that will pay out when you're older, or protect your family if something happens to you.
And finally, Cure 7. Increase thy ability to earn. This confirms that the goal isn't just static wealth.
Wealth follows knowledge. You have to keep cultivating your skills, studying, getting better at your trade. When you increase your value, you increase your earning potential, which means that 1/10 you're saving gets bigger and bigger.
That 7-point plan is how you accumulate. But that's not enough, right? You need rules to protect what you've built.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next big piece of this, the 5 laws of gold.
And this is what separates the people who get rich from those who stay rich. Arkad passed these down to his son, Nomasir.
Right, because Nomasir initially failed. He ignored these laws, thinking his inherited gold was enough. These laws are all about strategic warnings.
So law number 1 just reiterates the start.
It does. Gold comes to those who save 1/10. No saving, no gold. Simple.
Law 2 is about making your money work. Gold labors diligently for the wise owner, multiplying even as the flocks of the field.
It can't just sit there. It has to be productive.
Law 3 hammers home the point about wise counsel. Gold clings to the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling.
You need experts, fiduciaries, people who are professionally bound to act in your best interest.
It directly addresses Arkad's first big mistake. And Law 4 seems like it was written specifically for Nomasir.
It probably was. Gold flees those who invest in unknown businesses or ventures without guidance. This is the law of due diligence. If you don't understand the business model, you are just speculating.
And gold hates speculation. Which leads to Law 5, the ultimate warning against greed.
Yes. Gold evades those who pursue impossible earnings or trust tricksters and schemers.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It violates the 5th law. Every time. The Babylonians knew the difference between a golden opportunity and a scam.
Which brings us to another great philosophical point they discuss. Luck. Arkad completely rejects the idea of fickle fate.
He does. The consensus was that true luck isn't random. It's attracted through action and preparation.
So good luck is enticed by accepting opportunity.
Exactly. The insight here is that opportunities are always fleeting. Procrastination is the thief of good fortune.
So it's not about waiting for a lucky break. It's about being so prepared, financially, skillfully, that when an opportunity appears, you're ready to act.
Men of action please your best. You have to be ready to move. And that requires determination, even after major setbacks.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the story of Dabasir, the camel trader.
Dabasir is rock bottom. He's in crushing debt from extravagance, he loses everything, and he ends up sold into slavery.
His whole redemption starts with a mental shift. He realizes where the determination is, the way can be found. His freedom, his dignity, it all depended on paying back every single copper he owed.
And that determination led to this incredible debt repayment plan he etched onto these clay tablets.
A plan that is so robust, it still works perfectly today. It addresses both the financial and psychological weight of debt.
Okay, let's break that down for anyone listening who's dealing with modern debt. How did he divide his income?
3 non-negotiable portions. First, 1/10 went immediately to savings.
Even while in debt?
Especially while in debt, to build self-respect and prove he wasn't just working for his creditors. Second, 7/10 was for living expenses, to sustain his family without going further into debt.
And the final 2/10.
That remaining 2/10 was dedicated every month to his creditors.
So how did he divide that part up? This is where the idea of pro rata comes in, which can be a little technical.
Yes. Pro rata just means in proportion. So instead of paying off the smallest debt first or the loudest creditor, he distributed that 2/10 proportionally. If he owed someone half his total debt, that person got half of the 2/10 he had available.
So it was fair. It kept his honor intact with everyone at the same time.
It's a holistic approach, saving, surviving, and paying down debt all at once. And you see this theme of responsibility extend to lending, too, in the story of Rodin, the spearmaker.
Right, he gets a big windfall of 50 gold pieces.
And he goes to the gold lender, Mathon, for advice because his sister wants to borrow it for her husband to start a business.
And Mathon gives this absolutely critical advice about lending to family.
He doesn't just say no, but he warns Rodin. If you desire to help thy friend, do so in a way that will not bring my friend's burdens upon myself.
You can't bankrupt yourself trying to be generous.
You can't. Mathon says any loan has to have a guarantee of safe repayment, secured by assets or by clear, verifiable earning potential.
The takeaway being, if you lend just based on emotion, you risk losing both the money and the friend.
Exactly. Better a little caution than a great regret. If you have to help, give what you can afford to lose, but don't endanger your own financial walls.
Speaking of walls, we have to talk about the literal walls of Babylon. They were legendary.
The ultimate metaphor for financial protection. The lesson there goes beyond just military defense. It's we cannot afford to be without adequate protection.
So in a modern sense, that's your emergency savings, proper insurance, diversification.
All the structures that prevent an external shock from destroying your internal prosperity.
And what builds those walls? Hard work. We see this with Shahrunada, the wealthy merchant who was a former slave.
He taught that work wasn't a burden. It was his best friend. He really emphasized that success comes from dedication and relentless industry, not from luck or an inheritance.
It's just amazing that the physical city of Babylon, the walls, the gardens, it's all basically dust now. But we're still studying their methods. They were pioneers of promissory notes, currency, written property titles, the very backbone of modern finance.
Their intellectual legacy, dating back over 8,000 years, is what endures. Their ability to codify these abstract financial ideas is what made their society so powerful.
So if we look back at this whole journey, from the cures to the laws, what are the three most critical, non-negotiable pillars you would leave everyone with?
I think it's a tripod, really. First is discipline. Save at least 1/10 of everything you earn. No exceptions. Pay yourself first. Second is safety. Guard your principal. Consult experienced, trustworthy advisors and avoid those crazy schemes that promise impossible returns.
And third?
Action. Continuously improve your skills to increase what you can earn, and when an opportunity shows up, you act quickly and decisively.
It's truly remarkable. The fundamental principles of human behavior around money haven't changed in 8 millennia. The success of Babylon wasn't a fluke.
It was entirely intentional. But here's a provocative thought for you to carry forward. The sources say Babylon's ultimate fall didn't come because its walls failed. They were impenetrable. It came from a strategic error during a battle, which led to its gradual ruin.
A human error.
Exactly. So if Arkad's financial principles were sound, what's the strategic error that causes modern financial plans to fail today? And how can we build systems, not just budgets, but philosophical approaches that are truly resilient, protecting our wealth long after the initial walls of a job or a particular asset have changed? Think about where your own strategy might be vulnerable to human error.